That's Nick.
And that's Joseph, and today we're here to talk about A Fall from Grace, the new Tyler Perry movie, which premieres on Netflix on January 17th, 2020.
I'm not sure why we decided to talk about this, but because I didn't expect much.
I think it's important to note that the filmography of Tyler Perry, you and I are both quite familiar with.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Who would have thought? You have seen, we've both seen almost all of his films, except for that Good Deeds film, I think.
I have seen that film.
With Thandie Newton?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's one I haven't seen.
Yeah. I think I've seen all of his films.
Okay.
And almost all of his stage plays. And
yeah.
So, he's a very important figure.
Sure.
Symbolically, he's done a lot of great work. I think that's why I continue to watch all of his things, because...
Hoping he'll progress.
Oh, so A Fall from Grace is... I was interested because the trailer made it seem like it might be... a fun time.
And some cast members that are...
I really like Felicia Rashad.
Yeah.
That's the only person I can think of. Who else?
Cicely Tyson.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Cicely Tyson. But this film is not what I expected.
It is what I expected, and let me tell you why. In the vast, expansive oeuvre of Tyler Perry, he does tend to gravitate sometimes towards... like adult erotic thrillers, kind of like the stuff we used to see in the 1990s starring white people like Rebecca De Mornay. And this is very much in line with Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor, and Acrimony.
Sure.
Except it's not very erotic, and I will say A Fall from Grace is just a smidge better than those two films.
Sure. Well, in a different way, perhaps, because the quality of this film, I think, is probably the worst.
Well, when Acrimony came out, wasn't Taraji saying things like, "We filmed this in 3 weeks" or something?
Like 7 days?
Yeah, no, 7 days, I think. Yeah,
something crazy. The quality of this one's really bad. I think also because it's a Netflix presentation that maybe I expected a little more.
I don't know.
But it's the opposite.
Netflix is
okay. So it's already like 3 minutes, and we haven't talked about what it's about. So it revolves around the character Grace, played by
Crystal Fox,
a middle-aged woman who's a divorcee. Mm-hmm. She meets a younger man, played by
Mehcad Brooks. He's from Desperate Housewives.
He woos her very quickly, romances her, and convinces her to get married. Mm-hmm. And then things take a turn very quickly. But the film starts with her in prison because she's been charged with murder.
Mm-hmm. His murder. So the plot device that's used is sort of her recounting the story to her lawyer, played by Brescia Webb, who is usually in funny things like Night School or Meet the Blacks or...
Well, she plays a sort of like junior public defender who has never tried a case. They gave her this case because they thought it'd be an open and shut plea deal.
Because that's all she's good at.
That's all she's ever done.
And her boss is played by
Tyler Perry.
Rory, played by Tyler Perry, who is styled as very much like he's trying to be Denzel Washington and Roman J. Israel.
I have so many things to say about things. So... It's told sort of in flashback. So Grace's character immediately says, "I'm guilty. Mm-hmm. I did it. I'm guilty.
I want to sign that plea.
I want to sign the plea. I don't. All I want to do is be able to see my son. Blah blah blah." But as her story unfolds, her attorney believes that she can help her win this case. So she goes to trial. She's not successful. She's convicted of murder. But Grace's best friend, Sarah, played by Felicia Rashad, we find out has a secret. And her secret is her and her son, who is Grace's husband, who she's accused of murder. So we're ruining the...
Tyler Perry sent something out asking...
I know he said don't ruin it, but
okay.
I feel like I have to.
Okay.
So it turns out that the man Grace married is her best friend Sarah's son, and for the past 25 years they've been running a scam where he seduces older women, marries them, and then steals all their money. And Felicia Rashad takes old women, holds them hostage in her basement, and collects their social security. The end.
I like it's a very slow burn, which I don't mind. This 2-hour running time. I like that it's rooted in kind of an old film noir mechanism, right? It's just that it doesn't make any sense. There's so many inconsistencies because even in the beginning we hear somebody talking or like a radio announcement like this kind of thing doesn't happen here in a town of 100,000. In a town of 100,000 that Phylicia Rashad has 15 women locked up in the basement.
Yeah, like how's that happen? Okay, so we only have like 5 minutes. So what did you like about the film? So you liked the sort of like noir, erotic thriller.
I liked the idea of it.
Okay.
I don't think it's very well executed, particularly like that scene in the diner where...
Well, don't talk. So what did you like?
Nothing.
Okay.
Well, Phylicia Rashad is... There's the one good scene with her, and it's when she's being grilled by the prosecuting attorney, and he gets her all flustered. And it's before the twist, but that is a well-played scene by her.
Yeah, and she's a talented actor. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, her presence on screen works well. Cicely Tyson doesn't really have anything to do except look like a really old...
She's there to drop the bomb.
She drops a bomb, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so many things are problematic.
Yes. So what did you like about it?
I'm not trying to be difficult. Like, I want to like Tyler Perry films, but it's like... Okay, so I think the way I feel about him is kind of how I feel about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, whatever you want to call him. And that he insists on being a part of everything he produces.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And he's always the worst part of it. Mm-hmm. Hearing P. Diddy on any track is like, oh my God, like it would have been so much better without him. I don't know why Tyler Perry needed to be in this film. He looks ridiculous.
You haven't seen Roman J. Israel, but I'm not kidding you. That is how Denzel is styled in that movie. And I think that's...
It just like instantly I start to giggle whenever I see him on screen because it's like, first of all, he's always trying to play it straight and he's always trying...
Coffee!
He just is like such a weird person in life, and I think seeing him on screen trying to play these like family men and these, it just is so like, it almost feels like a slap in the face. Like, girl, just sit back, make these movies and like stay out of it because, but I'm digressing. That doesn't work for me. The wig game in this movie is outrageous. Everyone's wig. The only person whose hair doesn't look crazy is Phylicia Rashad's.
Yeah, actually.
And the main...
Brescia?
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks okay.
Her situation's all right.
I find
those edges are laid. But Grace's hair, those wigs, that hairline, her husband, the con artist.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Well, and I'll get into that. Mm-hmm. His wig, atrocious. Also, I was very confused by the timing of the flashbacks because he is styled like he's in the like mid to late 90s. And a lot of the cars we see, a lot of the like decor seems very mid to late 90s. But then there are other things that indicate that it's like 5 years ago. So in like 2012, 2013. So very, like whoever did like the set production, set design, costume design did a
the production design is not good.
Horrible job.
There's a scene in a diner where...
Then there's a scene in the diner
where Shannon is, wooing Grace, and you can't even focus on them because all of the extras...
First of all, the camera angle is so awkward.
I think that camera angle was trying to...
do something interesting?
I thought they were trying to show some kind of... Because when you shoot from like low or high sharp angles, you're trying to create menace. But it's just for so short...
Okay, sure.
That's what I thought they were trying to do.
Okay, but I think that camera angle combined with the extras in the background... This movie is worth watching just to watch the scene with them in the diner and looking at the extras.
You can't help but notice. Like, there's an old white man that's pretending to eat and drink.
And drinking out of an empty cup, staring into the camera. There's another extra staring into the camera. I think most of the extras in the film look like they don't know what they're doing.
And understand, that's supposed to be somebody else's job to kind of check that shit out. Like
the production quality is
the assistant
so
director
poor.
was there one working.
So poor. Then also, I think probably the story itself for me is the weakest part because I just don't understand. Like Grace killed this man. Mm-hmm. She killed him. She bludgeoned him with a baseball bat to the head and thought he was dead, dragged him downstairs to her basement to die, and then like left. So the twist is he didn't die. She didn't beat him to death. He
lived. She didn't.
She called her friend. Grace called Sarah, Felicia Rashad's character, told her what she did. Grace doesn't know that's her son, but as soon as she hears, she runs over to the house, gets her son out, and he recovers. But we don't know this, so she's tried for murder. But it's like, this woman killed this man. No matter how dirty he did her, you can't do that. You get a divorce. You don't like attempt to kill someone. So it's like, she's guilty.
Well, yeah, and she's explaining, I called the cops to say what he did to me, and they said I need to get a lawyer. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's what you do.
Her attorney wants to help her, but I don't understand what her case is, because she did it.
She just says there's enough reasonable doubt to.
Oh my god, it's so like, the actual story is so weak that I just felt like this. Like, there are so many moments when I felt like this is so stupid.
Well, this is
not how this would work.
No. Oh god, Brescia Webb has a terrible scene, and she you know, to her credit, she plays it to the hilt, but where she has to she's trying to override the judge's decision once both sides have rested their case, and she insists on recalling Felicia Rashad to the stand.
She wants to call, both sides have rested, she wants to call Sarah back to the stand, and the judge is like, that's not how this works. Like, you know, like, no. And she says, she keeps, like, she is found in contempt because she won't stop saying this witness is going to go to the stand. And it was, like, it was uncomfortable to watch because, oh my god,
Tyler Perry works in severe extremes,
and I like that about him, but I think his filmmaking is not getting better.
No.
And that's really strange to me.
You know, I think his best work really is for Colored Girls, and that was like a sincere, honest attempt to do something that wasn't crazy, wasn't played for dramatic effect per se. Like,
but
very
this
dramatic
film,
things happen in that
but
movie.
I think this film isn't trying to play for crazy dramatic effect. There are no sort of outrageous characters. There's no, you know, like, it could be taken seriously.
No, but he works in, like, his Confessions is
similar, yes.
Or Temptation is very
Yes.
similar, but it tries to teach a lesson in how people behave in their acting. Like God, am I saying his name wrong? The Mashad Brooks character, Shannon, is so, once he's revealed to be what he's doing to Grace, like, is so vile. Like, it becomes black and white.
Sure, and that part doesn't bother me as much as just how poorly done it is. And these films aren't getting better. Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned, Temptation shot in such a short amount of time. This film, the quality is so low, the attention to detail is so poor. It just doesn't make sense to me for someone who has all the resources. It's almost like he doesn't want to let anyone else have input.
Right. Like, when Grace is fired from her job, they call her into a meeting, and they're like, $379,000 is missing from accounts that were accessed by your password. You're fired. Well, like, is that how that works?
It just is so, like, basic. It's so basic. He can certainly afford to have consultants and assistant writers and, like, people to zhuzh it up and make it a little more sophisticated. Mm-hmm. So I'm not hating on Tyler Perry, because I have watched all of his stuff and I do enjoy it. It's entertaining. But this just seemed like maybe he had a free day 6 months ago and he decided to write a story, and Netflix approached him and he's like, yeah, I got this throwaway script that I wrote last week during my bathroom break. Like, that's how this feels. Like, he has all the resources. Why can't he do better things?
Well, which is fun, because the way people that I understand that are talking about it already, because it came out today.
Can the lady who made Clemency help him? Can Chinone, what's her name?
Chinonye Chukwu.
Can she consult with him and help him? Can he hire Alfre Woodard since she didn't get a nomination for her Oscar for Clemency?
I
know. She worked with
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates.
Remember, we watched the extra features on that DVD, and
They're so cute.
Those women are asked, like, why they wanted to do this movie, and they both say to work with each other.
Not with Tyler Perry. Anyway, I would give this film 1 out of 5 stars.
I'd say that's being generous, but yeah, sure, 1 out of 5.
All right, bye.
Bye.